Hello house lovers, and behind me is our fabulous renovation project, the glorious Bon Accord house. Let's go inside. And house lovers, today is a scorcher in Melbourne, but hey ho, because today we are also celebrating a very special anniversary. Well, in fact, I am lying ever so slightly, because the special anniversary, house lovers, was in fact last week. Yes, house lovers, it is in fact 2 years since the good doctor and I bought the lovely Bon Accord house, and it is in fact 1 year since we settled on the house, which meant I could begin this work. So it is an anniversary of sorts of my YouTube channel, which in fact it's not, because I didn't start it immediately, but you know what I mean. It's the anniversary of the journey. And I celebrated it, house lovers, in this fashion. House lovers, Facebook has reminded me that today is the first anniversary of our settling on Bon Accord house. So happy anniversary to the good doctor and myself, and I find myself celebrating this milestone by preparing for asbestos removal. This is one of the last remaining kitchen annexes. As you can see, it was the kitchen of a gentleman who, let's just say, had a few issues. So this has had the most DNA to remove. Anyway, so the asbestos boys are coming to remove these tiles because 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s vinyl tiles were often asbestos, particularly if they were used in kitchens or bathrooms on the floor, because they were waterproof and heat proof. So those tiles are going, but the walls, which as you can see from this test hole here, is just masonite, which means I can remove this whole panel. Removing the whole partition, which means we'll be able to see through, because we are in what is going to be our dressing room, and that is going to be the door to our bathroom leading through. So once I've removed that wall partition, we'll actually be able to see what the run of this room is going to look like and what the light is going to look like. So it's a very exciting day. Those boys come on Wednesday, so watch this space. And the other thing the asbestos boys are going to be doing is in our favourite courtyard, the Schapelle Corby Memorial Courtyard. So come with me into Schapelle's domain. And there. I think we've only been in here once before. This is a little lean-to, I suppose, that was built against the boundary wall and the rear wall, and it was built just to be able to squeeze in a little bed there. So this was a little self-contained apartment. And the woman who owned the house at that point very cleverly squeezed out, can you see this funny little triangular corner here? I don't know if you remember, but we had the issue about what land was actually on our title. Well, house lovers, it is that corner. So this triangle here was squeezed off the next title by the owner, perhaps in the 1940s, just post-war, I think, and she squeezed out a whole little apartment to be able to get an extra tenant into the Schapelle Corby Memorial Courtyard. Well, house lovers, it is time to strip sauvage. Yes, each of these building panels here that is lining the entire place are asbestos. Not that uncommon, and as long as it's not broken or flaking or cracked, then it's actually really safe. But of course you don't want it around, and this whole area is going to be removed, so it does have to come off. A good thing to bear in mind then, that often building panels, not necessarily in areas that were either wet or hot, such as bathrooms and kitchens, can be asbestos paneling. So once again, house lovers, always get someone through a renovation you're about to do if you're doing it yourself before you start tackling any wall panels, because you just never know, particularly if your house had any work done post Second World War. So I would say 50s, 60s, 70s, just be careful. That includes vinyl floor tiles and vinyl wall tiles. So be warned, house lovers, be warned. And let us see what this place looks like Wednesday afternoon after the asbestos boys have been here. I know you're all desperate to see what the asbestos boys got up to and then what I got up to, but patience is a virtue, and you will see that story next week. Yes, house lovers, happy anniversary to us. 2 years, the good doctor and myself, ownership of the fabulous Bon Accord house. And the house was built in 1874, which means in 2024 it's going to be 150 years old. And at this rate, we might just be moving in. But update on that front, council has given us a time frame which is 5 to 6 weeks for the final decision, which means the end of December, which is kind of Christmas. It could be a good or bad Christmas present. Hopefully they'll send a receipt so we can exchange it. And I must say, poor sensitive tourist monkey me has found the whole process trying and tricky, particularly the objections. You feel quite personally attacked, but I know that it's just a game and it's a process that you have to go through, and everyone's leveraging this, that and the other, but hey ho. But you know what? Given the year that everyone has had, I don't think I'll be top noting that complaint. But thank you for watching for the last year, although I'm not sure it's quite been a year, but you know what I mean, a year's worth of journey. Thank you for liking and thank you for subscribing to the channel. Next week, I will reveal what I did and what I found lurking in the kitchen that the asbestos boys cleaned for me. And I hope wherever you are, things are okay. It is still a very rocky COVID road, and in Australia, there's been another outbreak in South Australia, a different state to me here, which is unfortunate for them. So, you know, it is swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But take care wherever you are, and I will look forward to seeing you next week with further updates of what I found beneath the floorboards.